Geena and I are so honored to be in sisterhood with the extraordinary and singular actor, director, advocate, Constance Zimmer, who I'm going to have her come on up. Constance is going to share her valuable perspective on how media depicts women in midlife and menopause. Take it away, sister.
All right. What? I was like, I feel like we need to wait for all those people to come back inside. All right. You guys are going to miss it. All right. Hi. My name is Constance, and I am an actress over 50. It has been 2,555 days since I played a character I thought I knew better than any character I'd ever portrayed, and I was wrong. Her name was Quinn King, and she was a badass bitch. A rageaholic, an emotional terrorist, a queen of revenge that could cut through steel. To my surprise, men and women of all ages loved her for her flawed characteristics, raw honesty, and never stopping to apologize for any of it. We all know that stereotype, the angry, single older woman who runs the world, too busy ruling to have kids, too busy succeeding to care. And no one ever asked why. And I also, for years, never asked that question either. I assumed that she was simply the result of a woman fighting to be heard in a man's world. Then, January of last year, it hit me. Quinn was in perimenopause. And my mind started racing about all the ways that we could have and we should have used her as a vehicle to display the changes that a woman goes through during this time. I started searching for answers or representation anywhere, and it was nowhere. Within a year, magically, for those of us who were in the thick of it, 9 books about menopause came out, as well as Miranda July's On All Fours that rocked women's worlds in more than one way. The M Factor documentary, HRT patches, podcasts, menopause is everywhere. Suddenly, it's the hottest medical condition in town. And it became very clear, very fast, that we have been missing it as storytellers. And it is rarely written about into the majority of women's stories because no one was talking about it. And even worse, no one wanted to. It was like some kind of shameful disease that only women get. And it wasn't even whispered about. It was black box warning labeled and put on a back shelf. And the new Geena Davis Institute report found that of the 225 films released between 2009 and 2024, prominently featuring a female character over 40, only 6%, 14 films to be exact, even mentioned menopause. 6%. And even then, it's usually a side joke, a throwaway line. A woman fans herself and, everyone laughs awkwardly and we'll all move on. Because menopause apparently was only 2 notes. You're either angry or you're hot. And it's not that kind of hot. Only 1 film had a meaningful menopause storyline. 1 in 15 years. But menopause is so much more than hot flashes, right? There's just one of dozens of symptoms that women will experience. There are emotional changes, cognitive changes, bodies changing, relationships changing, priorities changing. Hormones that used to whisper are suddenly screaming in capital letters. And yet, in Hollywood, women over 40 continue to appear on screen like they exist outside of biology. They are just older versions of 30-year-olds. Where are the real women living who are in between their 50s and their 60s? fine. We'll take 45 too. But the ones in the middle, the ones who have the most to say when it seems no one wants to listen. GDI's report also shows that women over 40 are twice as likely as men to have a narrative focused on physical aging. 15% versus 7, to be exact. Of 23 characters shown engaging in cosmetic treatments, 17 were women, often involving surgery or fantastical interventions to restore youth, when the male characters' treatments were almost non-existent. These stories are contributing to the social stigma surrounding this life stage. Because when a woman gets older, it's a plot point. When a man gets older, it's character development. Yeah. Their survey also showed that 14% of women under 40 say TV and film was their first exposure to the concept of menopause, and even more so for men. 21% compared to 14. We have a responsibility as artists and storytellers. 2 in 3 people agree on the importance of realistic portrayals and the degree in which menopause is missing from entertainment on screen. That's 72% of men and 63% of women. And even more so, the scarcity of roles for women over 50. Meryl Streep said, thank you very much. Meryl Streep said that after she turned 50, she was offered 3 witch roles in 1 year. 3 witches. Just think about that for a second, okay? We all know how valuable a woman going through menopause into midlife would have been portrayed by Meryl Streep. And I am very sad that I didn't get to see that. Menopause is not the end of womanhood. It is the beginning of women finding the freedom to finally take the leading role in their own life. Which is midlife, okay? The internal transformation, the new power, the awakening. No one writes about that transition. They write the bitch, the cougar, the ice queen, the woman who finally says no and is suddenly a monster. But here's the truth. A woman in perimenopause or menopause is just beginning her journey into the rest of her life. Menopause is only the on-ramp, folks, okay? So she is not losing control. She is gaining perspective. That is powerful. That is not pitiful, okay? We have been told that our value expires, that at 50, the party is over. Cue the back balloons, the gravestones, the over-the-hill signs, but Gen X is not throwing those kind of pity parties. We are not fading. We are not shrinking, we are reinventing. And we are getting black boxed labels off of hormone treatment and we are putting them on the front of the fucking shelf. At least in television, and this is from my personal findings, there are writers who have been and are continuing to try and write the stories that we all deserve to see fully flushed out for women. And it's taken a long time, but it seems we've gone from one sentence to one scene, to one episode, to one season. 10 years ago, Phoebe Waller-Bridge wrote one of the most reposted, rewatched, recounted monologues from her show Fleabag that truly expressed the frustration and the elation of menopause and aging. More recently, Sharon Horgan gladly brings a menopause coach to a wedding on Bad Sisters, and Sally Wainwright wrote an entire season of a show called Riot Women. And when asked in an interview, is this a show that could be enjoyed by someone who wasn't a menopausal woman? She laughed and she said, it's to be enjoyed by anyone who likes good storytelling. As Madeline and Geena Davis have been saying for years, what happens on screen has a real world impact. And if they can see it, they can be it. Think of the important and powerful role all of us in this room and beyond can be to give meaning and awareness to all of the symptoms that seem to come out of the blue, or the brain fog, or the lack of being able to sleep anymore. We can elevate and educate the experiences of this stage that will happen in every woman's life instead of degrading it and making it feel shameful. These women are not past their prime. They are redefining what prime means. How can the next generation get excited about aging when we aren't showing them what they have to look forward to? Hollywood may not know what to do with women in midlife yet, but I see change on the horizon. My fellow Gen Xers, and with the support of Gen Z, are loud and proud artists who are being joined by doctors and journalists and even members of Congress, working to promote women's health issues and draw attention to the true challenges that every woman in the world will face. As Samantha Bee says in her 2025 show, How to Survive Menopause, everyone argues about what their superpower would be. The power of flight, the ability to speak to animals, the power of invisibility. Well, I already possess the power of invisibility, and that is called being a middle-aged woman who lives in the world. So, here's my message to every woman listening, and every woman watching, and every woman in this room or in this world. You are not aging out. You are aging into your agency, into your wisdom, into your boundaries, into your voice, into the version of you that no longer bends herself into shapes for other people's comfort. We need to share our stories. We need to be included in your shows. We need to demand representation that looks like us, not like the filtered fantasy of a woman who never bleeds, never sweats, never changes, never puts herself first. A woman who finds beauty and freedom in aging. We are not a punchline. We are a demographic revolution. Being in midlife does not make us irrelevant. It makes us undeniable. And for the record, if Quinn had known that she was experiencing the change, she would have gladly said, I'm in fucking menopause, bitches. Let's fucking do this. Thank you.